Flosstube. My name is Sarah, and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. We're going to talk about cross stitch, and I thought I would start with a WIP Parade. So this is the bag that I'm currently using to hold all my projects and basically carry around my house. I really like it because it fits my iPad, which is often what I use to track patterns on, using the app Notability and like a highlighter to keep track of the stitches. So that's really nice. And I got it at a thrift store, and it came with a couple inserts that have been really helpful. One of them is this kind of wallet that used to have some Velcro in here that I took out with a seam ripper. So that's where I've been keeping my floss drops. Give you a little peek at those. These are ones that I just made myself. I'd be happy to make another video about how I make floss drops. It's very easy, and I like using them. And then the other thing it came with is this little coin purse, and I've just put a magnet on the metal button, and then I have another magnet on my scissors. So when it's all stored up, the needle is on the scissors, and when I'm using it, stick the needle on the outside, and yeah, very handy. So one of the projects I'm working on is what I like to call a house portrait. Making little house portraits, it's kind of what got me back into cross stitch as an adult. I learned as like a tween, or I don't know, a kid. My mom taught me how to do it, but I really didn't get into it as a kid, but got back into it as an adult. So this is a depiction of my friend's house in Rochester, New York. We were visiting them, and I was working on some cross stitch and showed them some pictures of other little house portraits I've done, and my friend asked if I could make one for them. Yeah. The tree's not quite finished, and I'm going to add a little bit more. I'll show you the pattern. And the pattern is just one that I made myself in Excel. With lots of conditional formatting. So each of the little squares has like a letter in it, and I told Excel what color to make that square if I put that letter in it. The tree is made based off of some like Pinterest cross stitch trees that I saw and just tried to kind of copy in Excel. Yeah. The next thing I'm working on is it's two different projects, but they're for a couple of my friends who are living in Montreal. And we visited them recently, finally. They've been living in Montreal for like 5 years. And I'm in Columbus, Ohio. And with COVID and everything, that kind of prevented our visit for a while, but we finally got up to visit them in March. And I was about to finish a cross-stitch project that I'd been working on for 2 years, which I'll show you later. And I was like, I can't finish it yet because I don't have anything else to start. So I asked them if they would want anything. And Sunny, my friend Sunny, asked for a Maneki Neko, a beckoning cat. Isn't you cute? Once I started this one, I started with that sort of dark brown outline, and it started going really fast. So I slowed down on it, and I think this will be my travel project, or travel stitch, as I've heard people say, because it's a little easier and I don't need the iPad for the pattern. This is another pattern that I made myself in Excel, but using Pixel Stitch, which is an online free tool where you can upload a picture and then it makes a pattern out of that picture. And I always download those patterns in Excel and then make some small changes myself. And it was originally an image from like a poster. I looked at so many Maneki Neko images and some pre-existing cross-stitch patterns, but I just didn't really like any of them. Yeah. So I will try to link and credit that poster. I'm not sure where it came from. I found it on Pinterest. And within the bag, let's see, I'm keeping the house one in just this little zipper pouch that I had from I don't know where. And then the Maneki Neko's living in this little drawstring black bag that, again, I don't really know where it came from. It does say Bullet Rye Whiskey. I don't know if someone gave us a gift, or I don't know. It's been sitting under my bed for a long time with a bunch of random bags. The last, and in my opinion most exciting project I'm working on is for Sunny's husband, Will, and he requested... Does anybody recognize this? He requested Thundercats, which is an 80s era animated television show that I was not familiar with, but we watched a couple episodes while we were visiting them. It is something. And so I found an image of all the Thundercats kind of in profile online. It was really cool. I was like, this would make a super fun stitch. Uploaded that image to Pixel Stitch, and yeah, it's so much fun. Obviously, I've been stitching this one in a hoop. I've never tried a Q-snap. I just learned what they were earlier this year. I don't know. I'm interested to try one, but the hoop's working for me. So yeah, the fabric is really nice, really soft. I got it on 1, 2, 3 stitch, which is where I get most of my fabric, occasionally some thread, but I usually go to Michael's to get the DMC thread because I can then look at it in person, and I usually bring the fabric with me. This one, the colors that that Pixel Stitch gave me were bright. It was I don't know, I could have just gone with those colors, but I was like, I'm gonna just tone it down a little bit. So I literally sat on the floor of Michael's by all the DMC thread and just picked them out. I forget how many colors are in this, but it's a bunch. I think it's about 15 to 20. So yeah, that one I'm using a hoop, which is what I usually use. This one, this house portrait, I'm actually stitching in hand, which is something I don't do very often, but the fabric is pretty stiff. And so I've just been kind of like rolling it up and holding it and stitching. Yeah. Then I don't have to switch off with my hoop. And I do often leave the project in the hoop while I'm working on it, because then I can easily just whip it out and and keep working. And I always wash and iron my projects when I'm done. I'll tell you a little bit about how I got into cross stitching again as an adult. It was in 2016. So I grew up in Massachusetts, outside of Boston, and my boyfriend at the time, now husband, was going to pursue his PhD in English literature. He had been an accountant, didn't like that, and really loved reading books, and wanted to, as he said, get paid to read books for 6 years. So he looked at a bunch of programs and settled on the Ohio State University in Columbus. Neither of us had really been to Ohio before and didn't quite know what to expect. We came out here and found an apartment and moved out in August of 2016, and we've been here ever since. We actually bought a house in 2021, so we've had it for about 2 years. We love our neighborhood. We love Columbus. Yeah, but when we were moving out here as a kind of housewarming gift, I saw the phrase, home is where the pants aren't, and I just thought that was cute, and so I wanted to do a little house portrait of the house we were moving into, and that phrase. So I made him this. Try not to get too much glare on it. There, that's pretty good. So yeah, this is the house that we moved into. There are a lot of duplexes in Columbus, so we were renting this half of the duplex. And the colors are not really true to what the house was. It did have this kind of like a pinkish purple trim, and the rest of the house was white or off-white. And yeah, I was just using the thread that I had on hand at the time to make this. Yeah, it was really fun. So that got me into making the house portraits. And then the next one I made, I might have been working on two of them at the same time, but I decided to make the two houses that he and I had moved out of to come to Columbus. So one of them was my parents' house, the house I grew up in. Here it is, so cute. So this one I got more into making like trees. These are both patterns that I found on Pinterest. But yes, I made all these patterns in Excel. Yeah. And I've actually made 4 of these because the first one I made, where's another one? There's another one somewhere lying around. The first one I made, I was trying to use as little fabric as possible to make the piece of fabric I got last across more projects. So then framing it was really hard because the fabric didn't reach to the edge of the frame. But then if I put a mat on top, then it was like covering part of the design. So then I made another one on a bigger piece of fabric. And one of them I gave to my parents recently. I made these in like 2016, 2017, and I gave it to them for Christmas in 2022 or 2021, I forget. Finally, yeah. And then this was the apartment that Evan, my partner, was living in at the time. This was in Somerville, Massachusetts, and yeah, this one turned out really cute. I had the idea to just do these like half stitches to add some kind of foliage in the background. They had this really awesome porch. So there was, I think, a couple living on the first floor, and then Evan and his roommates living on the second floor. Yeah, this one, the colors are a little bit more accurate. I think for this and my parents' house, I went out and got colors, and yeah. So both of these I haven't framed, and I've continued making them. I do intend to frame them and turn them into FFOs. Learning all these terms and stuff, fully finished objects. I'm not sure if I want to put them all in the same frame with like a custom mat or each in separate little frames. We shall see. So we moved to Columbus to this house. It was actually repainted while we were living in it. So I've got a pattern that I made for the house when it was repainted. It was yellow. So I will stitch that one. And then from there we moved. We liked that house a lot, but they didn't allow pets. So I really wanted to get a cat. It was really Evan's first pet, and he loves her to death. I mean, she might make an appearance. She'll make a stitch appearance. She might make a real appearance today. We'll see. So we moved to this house, another duplex. And you can see the little bird in the window. Our cat's name is Bertie, and she loves to sit in open windows. She is an indoor-only cat. But yeah, she loves this warm time of year because she can sit in the windows and watch cat TV. All right, and then our current house, and this one's not ironed or anything yet because I haven't. I still need to sign it, and I still need to sign this one. I'm trying to remember to sign my work somehow. There's the bird again. Yeah, the colors don't look quite accurate. Meow. It's our little house. Yeah, and right now, let me think. Wait. Yeah, right now, I'm sitting facing this little window right here. Yeah, we have done a couple things to the front of the house since moving in. We made Evan built like a stone wall, and then we made kind of like a rock garden because this is quite a steep front lawn, so it was a pain in the butt to mow. And then we also made a new porch railing because the old porch railing barely counted as a railing. It was some 2x4s painted white, and the bottom ones were just nailed directly to the floor of the porch, which bugged me to no end when I was trying to sweep or get snow off the porch or something. And why would you put the bottom of the railing on the floor of the porch? I've done a couple other house portraits, one for my in-laws of their house, and I'll try to put up a picture of the pattern and the finished product. And then I also made one for some of our Columbus friends who moved away, and that friend suggested that she and I do a gift exchange. And you know what, I gotta show you what she made me. But she requested a house portrait of their Columbus house that they rented, so I made that one for them, and I'll show you what she made me in just a second. Look how cute! Oh my god! So I just requested something like a cute little thing with a face, essentially, and I think fruits and veggies were among the like inspo pictures that I sent her, but I told her she could kind of pick what she wanted, so she made me all these little fruits and vegetables. We have a beet. We've got little peas in a pod. They come out of their little pod. We've got an apple and a strawberry. And then we've got a few more. Those ones all live in a little basket downstairs. The little blueberry and the lemon hang out on the mantle. The carrot just sits on my dresser in our bedroom. And Tina Turnip hangs out on Evan's desk. Tina Turnip's the only one that we've named so far. But oh my gosh, yeah, she sent them. I got this box from her, and I just started pulling them out, and they just kept coming and coming. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 8, unless you count each of these little guys separately. That's 10, right? Yeah. So cool. I have their crocheted, and I attempted to learn how to crochet recently, like a year or two ago, but didn't get very far, didn't practice very much, and I don't know. I mean, now I've just gotten so much more excited about cross stitch. Not that I wasn't before, but I've started watching Flosstube and getting more ideas and cross stitching more often, so I'm gonna stick with that for now. I'm gonna stick with what I can already do well, because I'm one of those people, when I start a new skill and I'm not very good at it, it's got that little bit of perfectionist in me, and it bothers me that I can't do it well. And yeah, one thing I love about cross stitch is you make a mistake, you pull it out, nobody knows, and you're following like a pattern. You know, you don't have to be good at drawing, which I'm fine at drawing. I'm not great, but yeah, the other kind of artwork that I do is I do some like paper crafts, and I do some painting, but the painting is not representational. It is, let's see if I can show you. Actually, I'll just throw in a picture of the kinds of paintings that I do. Very geometric, you know, put down a piece of tape nice and tight. And so it's all about just like colors, and I love triangles. Anyway, let's get back to talking about cross stitch. This is about cross stitch. Okay, so talked about house portraits, and then, you know, I don't know what inspired the next kind of series, and I say series, I've only made one, but I have a pattern for another one. A like inspirational women portrait series. I think it was another request from this friend, Maddie, and maybe from her husband Sid also, but I made them a portrait of Ilhan Omar, the congresswoman, and that was so much fun. Obviously I don't have it because I gave it to them, but I'll put some pictures in of the pattern and the process, and then giving it to them. It was really cool. I found a really good, this was another one that I used pixel stitch for the pattern, and I found a well-lit photograph so that there was enough kind of contrast in her face that I could just use 2 colors on a dark blue Aida fabric and get a really good representation of her face. It was fun to stitch, and it like helped boost my confidence that I didn't just have to, like, that I could do more than the houses, you know. So I got really excited. And then the next project is probably my favorite one. I'm looking at it down there. So I'll show you guys that. So building off of my excitement with the Ilhan Omar portrait, which I kind of want to make again. I'd love to make it again for myself or to hang in my office or something. I made a portrait of the bird. So this is Bertie in stitch form. You may get to see her in real form. She's sleeping downstairs right now, but I'm sure she'll pop up in one of these videos. Oh. I know maybe it's like not cool to gush about your own work, but this is just, I am so proud of this, and it looks so great, and it hangs up downstairs. And again, having the right photograph with enough color contrast and light and a dark contrast was really important. So yeah, I put the picture in Pixel Stitch. I don't think I did very much changing beyond that. But I had to do some editing of the original photo. Like, I sort of colored in the background around her face so that Pixel Stitch wouldn't use that in the pattern. Also, apologies if you can hear the tornado siren going off right now. That is every Wednesday at noon in Columbus. They test the tornado sirens. Hopefully you can't hear it. And I know I should maybe trim the fabric a little more on the back, because now when it hangs on the wall it sticks out a little bit, but just in my anxious way I was like, well, what if I need to take it apart and have a big piece of fabric? I probably won't trim it. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. What else? I think the last thing I have to show you is a fully finished object. Wait, no, it's not, because I have to sign it. This is a pattern that I bought on Etsy. I will credit the pattern designer and seller in the description box. And it was really the first purchase pattern that I did and made. Yeah, so it's a sleeping leopard in a tree. See if I can get a good look at it. Yeah. And at first, this is the most complicated stitch that I've ever done. It's pretty big too. So this one took me 2 years, from about, I think, January of 2021 until April of this year, 2023. Yeah, at first it was kind of difficult and I didn't love it because it was more work. It was more complicated to do than the previous stitches I'd done. But I learned a lot making it. And I'm going to tell you now some of the important things that I learned, or maybe it's just one really important thing. But I realized that my initial instinct was to like make all the little black areas and then fill them in. But then if you get one stitch off with one of these little splotches, everything else is off. So you have a lot to fix. So what I realized is just do like these 2 black splotches and then start filling in the yellows and the browns. And then you catch any mistakes a lot sooner. So it's a lot easier to frog the stitches and pull them out and fix your mistakes. So that was the method that I discovered that works a lot better for a more complex pattern, is just do like a small area and most of the colors, if not all the colors, in that small area, and then move on. And this one is a gift for some of our friends who live in Colorado, who we're going to go visit on Friday very soon. And that's one reason why I am making this video today. I was like, okay, well, I got to do it now. I have like a deadline to actually, you know, motivate me and a reason to film this video today and not wait any longer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of the frame and transport it, fold it up or rolled up or something, and then probably iron it again when I get to their house. And I've just ordered the same frame online to be delivered to their house. And it's a frame that has plexiglass that I have not put on the front. I've actually wrapped, I'll try to show you. I've wrapped the work around the plexiglass and then just put the back in, and it works real well. I was very pleasantly surprised. I was like, am I gonna have to buy a piece of foam core or buy a piece of foam core when we get out to Colorado? Like, or a piece of cardboard, I don't know. And then I realized, oh, I'll just... So there's the piece of plexiglass, and I just wrapped the pattern around there and then put this, you know, the picture that came with it in the back with the white side facing out. But yeah, I still have to sign this. I should do that like today. Because yeah, today is, I haven't said the date yet. Maybe I'll throw that into the beginning. Today is Wednesday, May 31st, 2023. And we are leaving on Friday. I suppose I could do it on the plane, but I'll be too busy working on Thundercats on the plane. You know what? I need to take some notes and prepare before I film this part. So, hello again, Flosstube. It has been a little while since I filmed the first part of this video. Almost 3 weeks. And I am back from our trip to Colorado to see some friends. I gave them the leopard cross stitch. There's a really cute picture of their new baby with the leopard cross stitch. New baby, he's about 4 months old. And we got to visit with them, their other son. We got to see their neighborhood and their house, which was really fun. And we also got to go to Rocky Mountain National Park, which was great. We did some hiking and camping. We've been trying to go to one national park every year since we've gotten married, or at least one national park. And so far our track record's been pretty solid, and it's so much fun. We love visiting national parks and doing stuff outdoors. I just wanted to say thank you for watching my first Flosstube. I also wanted to give some specific shoutouts and thank yous to other Flosstubers that I've started watching recently. I think the first one that I really came across was Michelle the Giddy Stitcher, and I love her videos, not just the ones about cross stitch, but all her other craft videos. She's a lot of fun to watch. And then I think she turned me on to the stitchandchill, and oh my gosh, I apologize, I do not remember the woman's name who does stitchandchill, but I really like watching her videos and the projects she's done. And just watching these folks and a few others. I've seen some stuff from Becky Got Craft, Tammy's Cinnamon Stitches, Cat Fur and Crow Stitch, World on a String by Dara. Those are just the main ones that I've been watching. I've seen a lot of different videos, but it's just given me sort of the inspiration and the confidence to start my own videos. So thank you to everybody on Flosstube, because it really seems like a great community, and I look forward to being a part of it. Bye.